All right, good day. Hope that you're doing well. So in this video, we're going to be doing Euclidean geometry questions. So now here, we're told that PQRS is a rhombus. Now first, what are the properties of your rhombus? Now your rhombus, remember, it's your tilted square, right? So as a result, what do I know about my rhombus? I know that, all right, diagonals of my rhombus, they intersect one another at 90 degrees. So these angles right over here, they're going to be 90 degrees. What else do I know? I know that my diagonals bisect my angles. Basically, this angle here is going to be equal to that angle. Right? So same applies with the other angles. Let me just change the color of my marker. I know that this angle here is going to be equal to that angle. So these angles are bisected, right? So they are cut into two equal angles. So this is going to be equal to that. And lastly, this is going to be equal to that. All right. So, and also you know that opposite lines are parallel to one another. And because this is a tilted square, all lines are going to be equal to one another. All right. So now state the value of T2. Now remember T2 here, it's here. And I said these diagonals, they meet at 90 degrees. So the value here is going to be 90 degrees. Now calculate with the reasons the length of PR. Now first let me write down these lengths that I'm given, right? So here, initially I was given lengths and I was told that the length from P to Q is 26 centimeters. And the length from Q to S, it's 48 centimeters. All right. So basically, it's 48 centimeters QS, the whole of this line, it's 48. And remember, with regards to your diagonals, right? So the diagonals, they're going to be equal to one another. So this here is going to be equal to that. Your diagonals are bisected. This is going to be equal to that with regards to your rhombus in this instance. So now, what is the length that they want me to calculate? PR, right? So they want me to determine the length of PR. So basically here, how would I go about doing that? Here, right, if I were to draw out this right angle triangle whereby I have values on. So here we're going to be making use of a theorem of Pythagoras. PQ, right, this is my right angle, and this is my T2. And remember I said T2, it's 90 degrees, right? So now here, remember, I'm saying that this line here, right? The line from P to T is going to be equal to the line from T to R, right? Meaning that if I could find my length from P to T, right, I can be able to find the length from T to R. And therefore, these two lengths, they're going to add up to my line, which is PR, right? So initially, I'm given this as 26. Now, and remember, I said QT, which is that, it's going to be equal to that, which is TS, right? So if I were to draw this line here, so these are my diagonals. Let me try and draw them separately. I have diagonal QS and I have diagonal PR, and T is the center. Now, here with regards to my diagonals, I'm saying that this line from P to T is going to be equal to this line from T to R. Remember, I'm trying to determine the length of PR. And I'm saying that making use of my theorem of Pythagoras, if I could find the length from P to T, right, I would basically be able to find the overall length of P to R because PT is equals to TR. And adding the two, I'm going to get the length of PR. Now, I also know that this QT line is going to be equals to this TS line. Why? Because these are your diagonals of a rhombus. These are the properties you need to know, right? And I am given the length from Q to S. Initially I was given the length from Q to S as 48 centimeters, right? So the overall length from Q up until S, it's 48, meaning that to find the length, remember, I need QT, right? I need QT so that I could be able to find PT using theorem of Pythagoras. To find the length from Q to T, I can just take 48 and divide it by 2. And now doing so, 48 divided by 2, this would be equal to 24. Now, what does this mean? This simply means that the length from Q to T is 24. The length from T to S, it's 24, right? So now I know that this length is 24. Now, can I be able to find the length of PT? Yes, right? Now, how would I go about doing that? This is a right angle triangle. And always, whenever you're trying to determine a value inside your right angle triangle, you need to make use of your theorem of Pythagoras, which is your R squared is equals to your adjacent squared plus your opposite squared. Now, your R, which is your hypotenuse, is the line opposite to your 90 degrees. In this instance, R squared is going to be QP. Now, this is equals to X squared. Our adjacent is QT. And our opposite, which is your y, it's PT. Remember, we're trying to find the length from P to T. And after we found the length from P up until T, we know that PT is equals to TR. Therefore, adding these two, we're going to find the length of PR, right? So now let me go about solving for my PT. Now, because here I'm trying to solve for my PT, I can make this equation to be in terms of PT. Basically, I could take this to the other side, right? And if I do so, I'm going to have QP squared minus QT squared. This is equals to PT squared. And let me substitute my values. My QP squared, right, is 26 squared minus my QT, which is 24 squared. All this is equals to PT squared. Now remember, here I'm solving for PT, not PT squared. And to get rid of this squared, I would need to square root both sides, right? So square root this is going to get rid of the 2. And remember what you do on the left, you need to do on the right. So also square root this. Basically here, the length from P to T is going to be equals to square root of, so you're going to just punch this into your calculator, 26 squared minus 24 squared. And punching this into your calculator, the length of PT is going to be equals to 10. Right now, here it's 10. And I know that PT is equals to my TR, which is 10, meaning that the overall length from P to R is going to be 20, right? So let me mention those points here. I know that PT is equals to, and why is that? These are diagonals of a parallelogram. All right. Now, as a result, my PR, the line from P to R, right, it's going to be equals to, I know that it's going to be PT plus TR, and it's going to be equals to 10 plus 10, which is 20. And that'll be all for this question.